I've heard some guys refer to women as bloodsuckers, but this guy really took it to the next level.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Before I get into this review, I would just like to apologize for the fact that my review schedule has become a little inconsistent over the past couple of days. There's nothing bad going on if you're worried. It's just things have been a little bit hectic lately, but before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to see how much I can get done. Puppet Master 3: Toulon's Revenge takes place during World War II in Germany. The Nazis are looking for a way to bring their dead soldiers back to life so that they can go on fighting. And when they hear about this Toulon guy who's able to bring inanimate puppets back to life, they believe they may have found a solution, but hands down, my favorite thing about this Puppet Master is that instead of going around killing innocent people, Toulon's puppets are in for one thing and one thing only: killing Nazis. Honestly, that's all they would have needed to sell me on this movie. Just make the title Puppet Master 3: Killing Nazis. Here, take my money. I'm sold. One small thing in this movie that some people may consider a continuity error is that whereas in the second movie Toulon was the main villain, in this film, which is a prequel to the first two movies, Toulon is the main hero of the story. But I was immediately able to accept this, not just because of the whole puppets killing Nazis thing, but I was able to see it as just Toulon being corrupted by death and how that could have changed him as a person later on down the road. The villain was pretty great in this movie too. I mean, he's pretty much everything that you would expect out of a Nazi character. He's a dick, he doesn't care about human life, and you absolutely hate his guts. All that he cares about is serving the Fuhrer. And something that I liked about him was how in the behind the scenes the actor said that he wasn't playing the character as a straight up villain. And I always find that interesting when a villainous character seriously believes that they are doing the right thing. This film had a surprisingly good production value for a full moon picture as well. I mean, everything from the costumes to the cars that people drove convinced me that this was taking place in 1940s Germany. I mean, granted it wasn't 100% accurate. The characters still spoke to each other in English because this is an American movie, and in America we speak American. That is, with the exception of the puppets, of course. Their vocal capabilities range from to The puppets are awesome as usual, though. I love the introduction of this new member of the group called Six Shooter. He's just this badass cowboy with 6 arms, and he's able to climb up walls like Spider-Man to take people out. What's not to love? I also love the fact that pretty much every puppet in the movie gets the chance to be a badass. Even Jester, who's normally completely useless, he just sits there and makes faces, gets the chance to stab a Nazi in the leg. Good for him. I do have to call one thing into question, though. There's a point in this movie early on where Toulon loses someone who is very near and dear to him, and then he brings that person back as a puppet with a very disgusting power that I'm sure no decent person would ever want. It's almost the equivalent of, say, if my grandma died and I brought her back with the power to give birth to full-grown alligators. That would be horrible. Another flaw with this movie is a continuity error which can't simply be excused by being corrupted by death, and it's the fact that when Toulon supposedly died for the first time, it was at an earlier date than when this movie took place. In spite of its flaws, however, Puppet Master 3 is still a very charming piece of entertainment. I would say that if you like killer dolls and you would love to see them taking out some of the worst types of people, then Puppet Master 3 definitely comes recommended. And that's all I've got to say about this movie. I hope you all have a good one.